Yahallah, Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Rachak Kodash, Yahweh, being the true name of the Father, as the word ignorantly calls God, Yahweh Shai, being the true name of the Son, as the word ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, along with the Holy Spirit, who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect and to the brothers that's pushing this truth in sincerity, risking their life and freedom to do so. And shalom to the brothers and sisters that are listening and learning. This is your brother Labah, coming to you with another lesson in truth. And Salakia, I did a lesson on this maybe a few months ago, but I wanted to kind of touch back on it, Salakia. The spirit was on me to go back into this, but images are more powerful than words. Right? Listen up to this at the very top. It says, because turning words into images is easier for people to remember. So these devils do a technique called psychological warfare. They have altered and warped our people's mind, right? Our people don't know what's going on, but they think they do, right? It said, because turning words into images is easier for people to remember. And remember, back in slavery, most of our people was illiterate. They could not read or write, right? So they had to be, the Bible was taught to them through the lens of a so-called white man, plantation Christianity, right? So they didn't have no understanding. And that's why the so-called white man made sure that our people stayed illiterate, right? And they would be persecuted, all right, if they knew how to read. And a lot of times lynched. There'll be some kind of consequence, right? But this is a part of that technique that the so-called white man has used in his psychological warfare to control our people's mind. And how he do this using images. Let me go here. Let me show you something. So everything's been a psychological warfare ever since you came out of the womb, whether you know it or you don't. Right? Using images. Images are more powerful than words. Right? These things stick into your mental forever unless you throw them out. Right? So when we was little children, let me back it up a little bit so you can completely understand. This is why most of our people are brainwashed. It starts when they're a kid. How you brainwash and indoctrinate people is you have to start them when they're young. Let's go here. And I put in, the most impressionable ages for a child, right? Let's go here. In this Salakia, it says recent brain research indicates that birth to age 3 are the most important years of a child in a child's development. All right, let's go deeper than that, right? Because it's really doing a whole phase of the childhood process, right? It says the formative years at the very top are the time period between 0 to 8 years when the brain and neurobiological development are the fastest after birth. So these are the most precious years of your life. But what happened during those years? You was getting indoctrinated. You was getting brainwashed using images, right? All right. So when you be watching these cartoons, all of us watch cartoons growing up the most, right? And you will see these so-called Bible period pieces, right? They would be in a cartoon formation, right? But you see everybody's whitewashed, right? So how does this play on your psyche? This is psychological warfare right here. And the so-called white man controlled the movies, he controlled the media, he can control the cartoons, he controlled everything that you see, right? So to hide this lie, right, that they the Israelites, they the Jewish people, right, they had the whitewash history. So that's why when you start as a child, these kids see these movies, right, and they think, growing up that the Bible patriarchs and the prophets, Yahweh Shai was also called white people, right? This is some high level witchcraft and psychological warfare. And the alphabet boards, that's been coined. The alphabet boards use CIA is entwined inside of it. Let's go to this word psychological warfare, right? Check this out. It says, Salakia. It says psychological warfare involves the planned use of propaganda. Let me get into that word propaganda. and other psychological operations to influence the opinions, emotions, attitudes, and behavior of the opposition groups. I want to read this again for you, right? So this is psychological warfare. Let me show you something else, and I'm going to go back to this definition. Right, so as you start to develop, right, as a child, so in your mind, you start to understand what, the programming works, right? The psychological warfare starts to work on your mind, right? Like a medication or something. And so by the time you become of age, right, as an adult, you get more indoctrination, you get more psychological warfare with these movies, right? With the so-called white man movies, right? As everybody is so-called white people. Look at this, witchcraft. It says the Son of God. Look how he look. They're like a so-called white man. So after this years and years of beating this into your head, there's no way that you would ever think that you the real, true Israelites. Right? That's what our people don't know. We go deep into the mind. See, these devils study your mind. Right? They know what you do, why you do it, why you want to do it, why you like this, why you don't like that. Right? They go to great lengths. And I'm going to do a lesson on that, how the CIA has broken down the mind and studied our people, infiltrated our people, and know what they like, they don't like, know a lot of stuff that we don't even know about our own self, right? Because our people are lost. Look, Noah, so-called white man, and all these people that they making these movies about is so-called black people, the real so-called the Israelites, Salakia, was so-called black people, man, right? Moses, did not Moses get mistaken for an Egyptian? All right, Joseph went into Egypt. You had Paul got mistaken for an Egyptian, right? But when you go into these characters, see, this is all psychological warfare, right? And they push that name Jesus and that image and that character of Jesus being a soft-spoken so-called white boy. So when we come across in the real true spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shah, you think we a hate group, right? You think we so-called angry black men, angry black men, Salakia. But does not oppression make a wise man mad? So Yahweh Shah was a so-called angry black man, if you can comprehend that. All right, it probably went over a lot of people's head. It said psychological warfare involves the planned use of propaganda. I'm going to the word propaganda and other psychological operations. What is one of these psychological operations? Psychological warfare would be images, right? Movies, right? Salakia, that they put on your mind ever since you was a child, right? This stuff have completely brainwashed you. Let's go here. Remember, I open up. Images are more powerful than words. But why? Because turning words into images is easier for people to remember because images reach a wider audience, even those who cannot read, right? So this so-called white man deception goes to every continent, all right? Let me read some more of this. Let me just read some more. But not everyone can understand the meaning of some abstract images, so on and so forth. Let me see. It says, but words create images in the reader's mind too. All right. But you get the point. You get the point. And it makes sense because it's just really common sense. If you got an image, all right, look at this. All these psychological warfare. If you got images, you don't need words, right? Especially if somebody's illiterate or they don't know what's going on and this reaches different languages. Say you don't speak the same language somebody else speak. If you can communicate them, show them an image, it reaches everybody, no matter what, if they don't speak the language or not. It just, a lot of this stuff is common sense, man. You got to start churning into your mind, man, your brain, using your goddamn brain, man. All right? That's what a lot of this is using common sense. All right? It says psychological warfare is the term used to denote any action which is practiced mainly by psychological methods with the aim of invoking a planned psychological reaction. So what this psychological warfare has done is it indoctrinated our people into this whole culture of the so-called white man and this madness and this wickedness and this evil, right? And it really made you docile. It really made you not understand what the Bible was really talking about. And you try to look at this. Look, Abraham, Jacob. Look at this. This warfare, this psychological warfare, remember, it's on your mind. These images live in your mind forever. Unless you got the truth and you know what's going on. right? You have to be reborn because the so-called white man gave you his programming, how he wanted you to think, right? And it's real, all right? I'm going to go to this word propaganda real quick, so give me 1 second. Right, I got this word propaganda, and what the so-called white man has done is put a whole collection, a collaboration together to keep you lost, to keep you not knowing what's going on, to feed you nothing but constant lies. And once you sit, it's a saying that they say, once you tell a lie so many times, it becomes the truth, right? Propaganda, right? It says information, especially of a biased or misleading nature. You hear this? Information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. That's heavy. Or point of view. It says propaganda. Propaganda is communication, right? How they communicate with these movies, they books, right? Everybody in there is so-called white people, man, and that's gonna play on your mental unless you know the truth. That's why when we tell our people they the Hebrew Israelites, they God's chosen people, so-called, right? God, we don't use that name God, right? But them, so you can know what I'm saying, right? They frown up on that, and they don't. That's the last thing that they can ever believe. Why? Because it is, right? The propaganda, right? The psychological warfare, and got them as a kid too, right? Let's go here. And I remember, I grew up in that fucking shit show called the Christian Church. They used to have a literature in the so-called Bible movies, right? They was all so-called white people, right? Psychological warfare is heavy, heavy, heavy. And you have to know this so you can know how to get this stuff off of you, right? That's why most of our people hate their own self. They hate what we say. They like, you can't be men of God, right? As they think in their mind, right? Because of the propaganda, right? Propaganda is communication that is primarily used to influence, you hear this, or persuade an audience to further an agenda. And what's the agenda? That the so-called white man is the true biblical Israelites, right? That relabel themselves as so-called Jewish, right? That's nothing but a lie. These are Edomites, right? That's in that land. Right, let me get up another precept. 1 second. All right, Salaki, before I get into that scripture, I want to show you another movie that they use to do psychological warfare, right? This movie, 10 Commandments, right? And this is a big movie that they play every so-called Easter, which we don't supposed to celebrate Easter. That's a pagan day. Supposed to really celebrate the Passover. Let's go to show you these people don't know what's going on, man. All right, the 10 Commandments, right? Everybody's whitewashed. Moses, even the so-called Egyptians is whitewashed, right? Which we know they was dog people, and also our people that were slaves there. That's why you the devil, man. And our people don't really have a lot of sense, they completely gone, man. And again, you can't really, this is psychological warfare. Ezekiel 36:5. Therefore, thus said the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Surely in the fire of my jealousy, I thought the Lord was good all the time. You people don't know what's going on. Have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea? When you go into this word Idumea, that'll be your homework assignment. It means Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And against all Idumea, Edomites, which have appointed my land into their possession. That was the Balfour Declaration, right? That these Jewish people, which are Edomites, appointed the land of Israel into their possession and start acting like they was the people, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. All right, so that's what you devils have done. And you doing it in every way, form of fashion, using your media, your films, your movies, to keep pushing this lie, right? Using your churches, you know what I'm saying, so called, right? But running out of time. Call Allah, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Hak Wadash, Shalom.